Shalom, shalom. Start this lesson first and foremost. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles, a great millstone, who rule well and push out the 100% truth and truth and sincerity. And shalom to the old elect scattered across the four winds. Lord willing, this lesson be edifying. And the topic of this lesson is going to be, these nations, they are at a part in our downfall. These nations celebrated when we were put into captivity. These nations celebrated when the Lord stopped dealing with us. They used that as a pivotal moment, for our downfall, which was all planned through the Spirit, And these nations, they have a judgment, They have a judgment that's coming for them, especially for what they did, man. You touched the apple of the Lord's eye. You fucked with his people, But let's go more into detail. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, which means, not us going into further more of captivity, but the Lord taking away the captivity from us. I will also gather all nations, because all nations had their part in this, Psalms 80, I think I have it too. Psalms 83. Yeah, I have it. Psalms 83. I will also, back in the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 2, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which means Yahweh Shaphat in the Hebrew, Yahweh's judgment, and will plead. That plea goes in the judge with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Our people were scattered among the nations, and those, we were scattered, and those nations part of the land. Now we're at, you got Jake everywhere, which is all according to prophecy as well. It was bound to happen, but they part of the Lord's land. Here's the point that I want, though. Verse 3, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. So not only did these people do this, but these people celebrated, They had a good time. They gave gifts, they exchanged gifts with each other, And an example of that would be, before I bring out that Psalm 83, is this right here. Judea captive. To celebrate the triumph over Jerusalem, the Romans produced a huge issue of commemorative coins known as Judea capta. And you can look, look at this. Look at this, man. This is what these nations did. They celebrated our downfall. They celebrated the Lord not dealing with us, man. Look at this. And come. Let's get that word real quick. See, acting as a memorial or mark of an event or person. So this was an event for them. They had fun while they did this, man. These nations are off. These people are off. Let's get the book of Psalm 83. To prove that these nations are innocent, man. They all had their part in this. It's the book of Psalm 83, chapter 1. A song or psalm of Asaph. Keep not thy silence, O power, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. And that's our enemies. They lifted up the head. They made a tumult against us. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. So they took a counsel together. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And that did happen, But they didn't account for the Spirit. They didn't account for the Lord waking up his people. They didn't account for Ezekiel 37. They didn't account for that. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. So they came together. It's like you have all your haters. All your haters come together to to come against you. That's exactly what they did. And, it's going to list the people. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gebal, and Ammon, Amalek, which is the chief house of Esau, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Esau also is joined with them. They have opened the children of Lot, Salah. You know, these people, they took crafty counsel against us, man. You know, they wanted to see our downfall because they understood, the Lord ain't dealing with them. You know, it reminds me of when, who was it? I believe it was Moses. When, I believe it was Moses when the children of Israel were in the woods and Edom came and tried to get at them, you know. Moses had to hold his hand up, you know. And every time, you know, Moses' hand was down, you know, they were getting pieced up. But when he put his hand up, the presence of the Lord was with them, you know. And these people, you know, they realized that, the Lord distanced himself from us, you know, because they were scared of him, you know. El Shaddai, they called him El Shaddai for a reason, demon-like power. So once they see, their power is not dealing with them, they pounced, you know. Continuing on, it's the book of Lamentations, chapter 2, verse 15. And this can even relate with that capital Judah as well. Because the commemorative is an event or mark. This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 2, verse 15 and 16. All that passed by clapped their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All the enemies have opened their mouths against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. This is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it. You know, and that's what the mindset of these, you know, our enemies were. They celebrated, you know, they gave gifts. They were happy when our downfall, you know. That's what the Lord said in Joel 3, he going to gather all the nations up and he going to judge them in the valley of Jehoshaphat, you know, which is in the Middle East. And what's happening in the Middle East? War exercises, you know. The Lord coming back to judge these nations, man. They celebrated our downfall. And, we're going to celebrate their downfall because we understand, a power transition is happening, you know. Esau's rulership is being put to an end, and Yasharalah's rulership is commencing, is starting, is being built up, you know. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I just want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles, a great millstone who rule well and push out the 100% truth in truth and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect scattered across the four winds. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Until the next, shalom.